everyone. Thanks for joining us on another, this is not a kid-free weekend or a weekend, but we're without the kids. But
it's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Hopefully I'll get this up tonight. But here's the thing. We have been quiet for a while. We had our last episode featuring the wonderful Pam Brundige.
Yay,
We've
Pam!
had an amazing response to that. Thank you, everybody who's been listening to that, and I hope that will continue. I kind of like having it at the top of our podcast list. But I did want to say a couple things, like a little programming note or two. We are recording this from a hotel in San Diego, where we're attending Comic-Con, because even though we hate Trump and all that, we're also big nerds. So, we're at Comic-Con.
We're at Comic-Con.
So if you're into the nerdy things, you should check out our other podcast. That's Pod of Thrones, available on iTunes and Google Podcasts and any other podcast app that I know of. And what's coming next for us on this particular channel, we do still have just a few weeks left till the March Against Fascism, which I think is still happening, which I'll come back to in a second. But we would still like to talk to you. Who, me? Yes, you. So give us a shout. You can reach me, Jeff, at Pod of Thrones on Twitter, or Jennifer.
At Jennifer. Nope. Kid Free Weekend.
At Kid Free Weekend on Twitter.
It's just Kid Free Weekend.
It always has been.
Oh, on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Okay.
What do you?
I was thinking of email. I don't know.
Or the kidfreeweekend@gmail.com. And just let us know if you want to chit chat, because we'd love to talk to anybody who's got something to say. And if you're attending the march somewhere around the country, we'd love to hear about that too.
Yes, please.
But that all said, I don't know if you've been on Twitter the last couple of days, dear.
A little bit.
Did you see anything about Pam?
No,
Our Pam?
I don't have a whole lot of extra time.
You remember how amazing Pam was when we talked to her a few weeks ago.
Is she even more amazing now?
Well, maybe in the sense of like, remember when Obi-Wan got cut by Darth Vader and he just vanished into the ether? So
she's now, what are they called when they're like?
A Force ghost?
A Force ghost, yeah.
Something like that.
Is that okay.
I mean, it's pretty sad. I woke up 2 days ago, I think it was, to a message on Twitter from someone saying, hey, what's going on with Pam? Her accounts are gone. So I tried reaching out to Pam. I admittedly did not hear back, but somebody else did. And so there is a thread on Twitter that I just wanted to read because it's very sad. She's gone.
What?
And it said the following. This is information through somebody else, at Seamus Kitty on Twitter. From Pam, I was not suspended, but I deactivated my accounts. Those accounts have gone into the Twitter black hole, never to see the light of day again. Threats from the maggots, are no longer just annoying, they're troubling, and Twitter never does anything about it. And she goes on for a bit, but she says she says the marches will go on. I already told my team that I would not appear at any of them because doing so would be like plastering a bullseye on my forehead. Wow. We don't know what kind of messages Pam has been receiving, but I imagine pretty grim. This fascism word has gotten them more worked up than you realize. And she says she's in the process of leaving Alabama. All women are at risk in this state. Female resistors are targets. Now, she does say, I will be back. I won't be back under my real name, but most of you will recognize Pam when she returns, regardless of the handle. Keep resisting. I love you all, and I'll be back. I promise.
Oh my gosh, Pam.
Yeah. So she's been getting, I have to imagine, death threats. Something.
Yes, I do believe it. It's scary.
Yeah.
I felt like this a long time ago, that putting yourself out there and speaking up against the government is bad news these days.
Well, I mean, the internet's been like this for a while. Like, Gamergate had nothing to do with the government, but it was still like anyone who was female and involved in gaming or game journalism was getting rape threats, death threats, threats against their families. They were getting doxxed and having their personal info spit out on the internet. And then people would take that and say, hey, I'm coming to your house. I'm going to rape and kill you.
God.
And I can only imagine that someone like Pam, who, I mean, she had her real name out there too. You know, she wasn't exactly quiet about being who she was gonna be.
Right. Everybody knew where she was. I don't know about city, but
I mean, of
what
the people
state
we've
she
talked
lived
to,
in.
I've had first names of people, except for 2 guests ago when that person just wanted to go by her handle of Nerdy Vixen on Twitter, right? She didn't even want to do her first name. And I get that because of shit like this.
Right.
That is just not okay.
No. Free speech is no longer free speech when you're getting death threats.
Yeah. Well, and these are the same people that would, like, if you tell them that they can't, I don't know, call people the N-word, they'll be like, hey, it's a free country. I can say whatever I want. You can't kick me out of your establishment just because I speak this and believe this, but then they'll do this kind of shit. And they do it, especially on Twitter, because they're anonymous and they can get away with it. Twitter doesn't do anything about it or can't do anything about it. I'm not saying it's an easy war to wage because all you need is an email account to sign up, but maybe Twitter should rethink that. The anonymous internet is a dangerous place.
Even if I just don't. There's no way to control it. It's so widespread. I don't know.
I don't know either. There's really no good answer. But it does speak poorly of the medium when our president can say racist shit, sexist shit on a regular basis, or just stuff that is designed to incite people. Free speech isn't supposed to cover certain types of things. Hate speech is not really covered in most cases, and anything that would incite someone to violence is not covered, but he's trying to rile people up for the purposes of getting them angry, for the purposes of getting them enraged, and that can only go in a couple of different directions, and one of them is violence. So I've reported Trump's tweets more than once.
Have you?
Oh, yeah. But it doesn't do any good, really, because they're not going to suspend the account of the president of the United States.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be amazing. But they're not going to do it, I guess. I mean, the only saving grace is, like, Trump is constitutionally not allowed to block people on Twitter.
Right, I saw that.
Like, that's about all we have going for it, is that we can still call him a piece of shit. But then, like, people that go and take, like, I don't know, Laura Ingraham or Tomi Lahren, some of these Fox News talking head windbags, if anyone goes and calls them, like, a bitch or a cunt or stupid or whatever, people report those tweets, and those people wind up getting temporarily suspended from Twitter for, like, a few days, just for calling someone a name, which, again, free speech, right?
Yep. I don't know.
Twitter's kind of a mess.
Everything's a mess. Our entire country is a mess.
Yeah. I mean, we're coming off, just 2 or 3 days ago when the president was telling American citizens to go home to their native countries.
Right.
And then just yesterday, Kellyanne Conway got into it with a reporter, and when he was asking her a question, she said, "What's your home country?" Or what's your ethnic origins or whatever.
Wow.
Which she was saying, like, oh, I was just going to try to prove a point. I wasn't trying to be racist. But of course, the president wasn't being racist either. So they say, oh, it's nuts, man.
Well, I mean, everybody's ethnic origins are from somewhere else. So fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, at best, the Native Americans have claim.
Right.
And even they were theoretically not here first. They traveled over a land bridge from, like, Russia,
right.
Alaska, or whatever that was, thousands of years ago. Yeah. That's the crazy thing, is, like, Trump is maybe second generation, I think. Like, his grandfather, I think, came over from Europe somewhere, right? And so Trump is saying, like, if you don't like it, leave. If you don't like this country, leave. He spent the last decade being a whiny piece of shit about everything going on in this country, mostly because we had a black president.
Right. And everything that he was whining about, he is now doing, but much worse.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how it's always been. Accuse other people about what you're guilty of. Like, it's right out of the dictator playbook. Yeah, so...
How shitty. I'm sorry, Pam.
Yeah, Pam, we love you. We're glad that we got to know you before you left us. Please come back.
Yes, and if your moving brings you closer to us...
Hey, yeah, if you wind up in California, you'll love it here.
Well, she might be. What? You don't want
she
people to know where she's going.
She could be here right now.
I'm just saying, if
She could be in
you're
the hotel
anywhere
room next door to
within closeness to us... We'd love to meet you in person.
That's right. We would.
Yeah.
We would indeed. Let's do an on-camera interview. Anyway, so I hope the March Against Fascism is still going forward. It's August 17th in many locations around the country, but they were focusing, as you recall from our interview last time, efforts in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Mitch McConnell, still a piece of shit.
I did just look this up, by the way, and it said that march is still going on the way here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, because the main account, which I think was at No Fascism March, that was shut down at the same time as Pam's main account. But the regional ones, which are like at MAF _, various cities, those still appear to be up. So here's hoping. I hope there's a good turnout, again, especially in Kentucky. Because, I would just love to see...
Why especially in Kentucky?
Because Mitch McConnell's a piece of shit.
Oh.
He was just asked about the Trump racist tweet thing and was trying desperately to defend it. And then he was asked, well, what if someone said that to your wife? She's Chinese.
What?
She's of Chinese descent, but I believe a citizen. And, it's all stuttering and muttering, and he's just a bumbling fool. He can't defend it. He's just going to pretend like he can and hope that people forget about it soon. And they will, because Trump will say something equally shitty in just a couple more days.
Right. That's his MO. Make them forget the last thing I did by doing another thing.
It would seem so. Although I just don't know what's calculated and what's not, because he definitely is a raving lunatic, doddering, senile, fucking sundowning old man. And I'm not sure what's intentional or what's not. I mean, I'm sure he's a racist, but apart from that, I'm not entirely sure.
Yes. I mean, it feels like there are people pulling his strings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Putin, at the very least.
Right.
We can rest assured on that.
Okay, so
anyway.
what is that what we were talking about?
What?
The fascism and Pam Brundige? Is that what we came here to do right now?
Well, that's not why we're in San Diego.
No, I know, but why we're on this.
Oh, I just wanted to tell people that we're still around, because if they're not subscribed to Pot of Thrones, then they're not going to see any of the San Diego Comic-Con stuff. So there's going to be a deluge of content over the next week on that thread. But then we got to get back to talking to some resistors, and hey, maybe we'll do some quick hits on other things. Stranger Things, that movie we saw, Midsummer. I know you want to talk about that someday.
Fucking crazy.
Would you give that one a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I give that one a thumbs up for its
ballsiness,
bizarre, fucked up content.
Stranger Things season 3, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, although it's a little funny, a little too many it's a little too comical for my liking.
I feel like it was funny at times, but more horrific than the previous seasons.
I mean, the whole Hopper was funny the entire time.
He was a dick.
Well, he can't help it.
All right. Well. Let's see what else. We've been watching a lot of Walking Dead.
Yes. Are we all caught up?
We're current, but we're one episode away from the Fear the Walking Dead mid-season finale. So seems like kind of bad timing.
Are we current on that now too?
Yeah.
Sweet. We're on track.
I feel like, we've been watching some stuff. We've been busy. Kids, summer vacation. They go to bed later. That makes it a lot harder to podcast.
Right, it does. We get busier in the summer, oddly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be vacation. Fuck this.
Well, yeah, and I've been going all over the place. And
yeah, we've been out of town a little bit here and there. And now we're out of town again.
Out of town again.
We can take our recorder with us, so we got that going. So yes, I think that's it for now. We'll be back to talk pop culture and politics and all that other shit that we love to talk about.
Okay.
So stay tuned, people. And remember to write in if you want to chat. We'd love to talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.